My name is Anna Lund, and I was on road company for what was supposed to be 2 years, and ended short this year. And I was the co-team leader this past school year, so helped coordinate with the schools we went to every morning and checking in with them and sending out daily reports at the end of every day.
Great. Hi, Anna. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to see any human.
So this is Nikki Wiesel. I am the director of marketing at Taproot Theatre, and this is...
I'm Jacob Viramontes, and I'm the communications manager at Taproot Theatre.
Great. So Anna, tell me one thing about being on road company, something that you love on a day-to-day basis, or it doesn't have to be your very favorite thing, but something that you really love about being in the schools.
I think and probably anyone on road company would probably also attest to this, that just hearing what the students have to say at the end of every show, we most shows we get to do a question and answer with the students, and just sometimes they say the funniest things, and sometimes they say the most profound things that we, remember forever, and they probably don't remember what they had for breakfast. Like they don't think anything of it. But to us, it's so memorable.
Great. Hey, what was it? So when did you start finding out schools were canceling? What happened? What was that process?
At the beginning of March, we spent a week in Yakima doing shows there, and things kind of on those side of the mountains hadn't really picked up with coronavirus. It felt very, very distant where we were. But, we were hearing updates like from Seattle and from, Kirkland and everything. It was like, oh, this is getting big. Like, this is kind of weird. And I don't know, it's kind of cheesy, but like literally as we were like driving, down the pass, like back into Seattle, it was just almost like you could like feel it in the air. Like it was just everyone was just like so tense. It's like, we don't know what we're going back into. Like things had just picked up so fast and so rapidly. And that Friday that we returned to Seattle was when we first heard that like most of our shows the following week in Seattle had been canceled.
So was that like mid-March?
That was like the first week of March.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that was when things first started getting canceled, and we first were like, oh, this is going to impact our lives.
And then that kind of changed fast, right? Then the schools actually started closing, and
yeah.
And the road company was eventually laid off.
Yeah, and again, it happened really over the span of just, I think, like a week, maybe a little more. We slowly... more and more schools started canceling or just closing in general. Either they were shut down or they just didn't want to have assemblies where all their kids were, in the same room touching each other. And yeah, that was a gradual thing where that happened more and more. But we still had these overnight tours to Eastern Washington, to Portland. And we were like, first tour got canceled, and then and it just kept growing until the announcement was made that all schools in Washington were closed for the rest of the year.
And so eventually the call was made that we weren't going back out again. What did you do? I
mean, I cried a lot. Yeah, I had a solid evening of tears. We have a road company group chat, so we all, kind of checked in on each other. And I think what was the hardest is just like realizing, wow, we already did our last show together and we didn't realize it. We never thought that we wouldn't be able to like say goodbye to that job and to each other in that same context. Really felt like a wake up call to, not take those everyday things for granted that we won't get to do again.
Yeah. And you rushed right out and got a job.
I did, yeah. Didn't feel like I had a ton of choice, because it was like, well, if we're not going to be working, and that's something that I appreciated so much about how Taproot handled it, was that they made the call to cancel the rest of our season before the schools had officially made that call. Because you just realize like it's not really fair to us not knowing if we have a job to come back to and all of that. So it kind of gave us a leg up on being able to apply for unemployment or to apply for jobs, things like that. So I very much appreciated the way that was handled. But yeah, I went to a grocery store and got a job since they're super slammed and can take all the help they can get. So
what is that like?
It's hard. It's definitely hard. I'm like a shopper for people who do online orders. So it's basically just walking all day, every day. Usually, and I have my little fitness tracker, so it's usually like 7 or 8 miles every day, just like walking around a grocery store.
7 miles in a grocery store. That's like
it's a lot different than 7 miles around Disneyland or something.
Right, in the mountains.
Yeah. So it's physically draining, but and like mentally too, because you really see it's so eerie to just kind of step back every once in a while and realize like, wow, everyone around me is wearing masks and gloves and like not talking to each other, and it's so kind of spooky and good. I mean, it's what we should be doing, but it's weird to be in that environment every day.
Have you seen any like profound acts of kindness that really impacted you or were memorable to you?
Yeah, I think that almost every day there's a person that goes out of their way to ask, like, not just like, oh, how are you doing? Like kind of brush it off, but like genuinely asking like, how are you? And like thanking you for doing this work and for being that essential service. And that's really, it's very encouraging. And I think it shows how this time is bringing out the best in people at sometimes. And that's something I'll always remember, that people go out of their way to do that.
And you really are. I mean, you're protecting a lot of people by doing their grocery shopping for them.
Yeah. And it's as busy as it is, or like as tiring as it is to do that job. It's like, that means people are staying home and are choosing to do this, online grocery shopping, things like that, which I am thankful for. So
What's next? What's next for you? Are you going to work in the grocery store forever?
Well, until till this ends. Yeah, I thankfully back in the fall, I got offered the role of program coordinator or program manager for the education department at Taproot. So I'll be kind of on the flip side of what I was doing on Road Company. So I'll be making contracts for the schools we go to and doing, and I'll be doing work with the acting studio and the camps that Taproot does. I just can't wait. I grew up going to shows at Taproot, and then was an intern at Taproot, and then taught some of the summer camps, and now being able to kind of be in a role that encapsulates a lot of that, and working with the people that brought me to where I am now is just like such a joy. So fingers crossed, according to plan, I'll be starting that role in June, and I can't wait.
Well, we're lucky to have you coming back to Taproot. It's really cool to have someone who's experienced Taproot from so many different vantage points to be in a position of leadership. So that's cool.
Yeah, can't wait.
Okay, here's the question I've really been waiting for.
Okay.
When we are done with all of this quarantining and social distancing, what are you going to do? Is there something you're looking forward to, or?
Honestly, I just want to hug someone. Like, I don't care who it is, but I figured out like the other day, like I haven't like touched another person since like March 24th. And it just made me realize like we are not meant to be isolated creatures. And I just can't wait. Road Company from this past year, we're going to have a barbecue. And then on the less poetic side of things, as soon as Disneyland opens again, I'm there. I'm going to go.
Ready for Disneyland.
Yeah, I can't. Where the most people are congregated in one small space. That's just what I want.
That's awesome.
Yeah, can't wait.
Good.